Welcome to a This Old Manikin quick tip. We all have a lot of these infusion bags and we infuse a lot of different fluids, but they're not cheap and we want to refill them. So how do you refill them? Well, first, we all refill them with distilled water, right? Why is that so important? Well, it can grow things if not and do all that. But also, if you use chlorinated tap water, that's why your lines bleach themselves out and they get all white and nasty like that. It's the chlorine bleach that's actually bleaching that out. That's a fun tip from Ed Rivera, who taught us all that stuff. But when I want to fill it in a hurry, I usually am going to reach for the largest syringe I could find. Amazon's got them about 300 cc's, sometimes larger, and these are good. So if you need to slam fluid in there pretty quickly, this is your thing. But we all like to plan ahead and fill things, quicker and not take so much time. So I'm going to teach you how to build a rig so that you can passively fill these, set it up, fill it full of distilled water, run, and come back, and it should be pretty much full. So the things you're going to need are feeding bag and a set of IV tubing. Now, I've got a secondary tubing here, I've got a main IV tubing. The biggest thing you don't want is a one-way valve, because we're going to be sending the fluid the opposite way that it normally is ready to flow. This one doesn't have a one-way valve, so it's perfect, but a lot of times if you have only main IV tubing with one-ways, your secondary tubing will work just fine, because they don't. They're just a little shorter, but we're going to go with this guy here. First thing I'm going to do is open this guy up. Now, this is the Covidin tubing for the Kangaroo. And what it's got is it's got a nice, easy open, large mouth bag right there. And then it's got its connectors and everything. But really what I like is this section here of soft tubing. And so usually what I do is grab one end, grab the other end, and see if I can't pop it off. And when I pop the wrong end off, I just grab a pair of scissors and cut it. But what's nice is that gives me a nice soft tubing that I can Y into. Then we're going to grab our IV tubing here. And take a look at it. You want to get your spike. No one-way valves. Some good lure-in places, the old school. Scary. I like having a nice long section of tubing. So this one I kind of got lucky, and I should be able to use most of the whole thing. So right now, all I'm going to have to do is slide that little guy like that, and all we're wanting to do is just make a good connection. And usually I'll put some super glue on there, stuff like that, but it stays pretty darn good. Well, now I've got a spike on one end that I can spike into my fluid reservoir. And then this, I can just fill up with distilled water, hang it, walk away. Now, be careful. Make sure you put this in the sink or something like that, because if you have a leak, you'll come back to a big water puddle on the ground. So be safe, make sure your connections are sealed, but that's just a really quick way to make a rig to set up to fill your fluids up. Again, stick with distilled water and stick with This Old Manikin for future tips and tricks. Thanks a lot. Happy sailing.